Now we get to the part that fascinates me greatly, as you know if you've watched the T-Rex videos, the arms. We all know that Tyrannosaurids have tiny arms with 2 fingers. Certainly seem useless, don't they? Guess what? The Abelisaurids are even worse. With T-Rex, you get a tiny but at least recognizable arm. It's an arm in miniature. You see the bones, you imagine the movement possible. Wait till you see the Carnotaurus. There were 4 digits, but no carpals or wrist bones. The 4 metacarpals or palm bones attached directly to the forearm. Meaning, without these bones here, there's actually no permissible movement at the wrist joint at all. The radius and ulna of the forearm were about 1/4 the length of the humerus. The elbow was immobile, which means the whole arm was held straight. Unlike the T-Rex forelimbs, where debate still exists as to function, these were really unequivocally absolutely useless. The Sideshow has the right number of digits, which is 4, and the vestigial nature of these arms is beautifully captured here. You don't have to be interested in anatomy to take one glance at this creature and the proportion of its arms to know that something is very wrong about this. It's impressive the way these arms are sculpted. They project straight backwards as if helpless to the forward momentum generated by a sudden burst of speed. The way the arm bulges here, you can see the bulges here and here. With the skin wrinkling, it shows so well a useless arm almost devoid of muscle, but still full of fat and skin. The reference to real lizard limbs is unmistakable. The only thing I'm not sure about is the number of claws. I understood that the lateral 2 fingers had no claws, but this sculpture seems to have only the last finger as clawless. I'll show it to you here. And perhaps seen more clearly on the underside. Just zoom out here. So maybe someone out there who owns one of these beautiful pieces can correct my perception here. But really, it's a very, very small bone to pick. And finally, we have the legs and tail. Let's look at the legs first. These are powerful, bulging sprinter's legs. Thigh and calf muscles are solidly developed, and there's little doubt they'll be up to the job when it comes to short bursts of speed. I love the way these tendons stand out too. And you'll see here, tendons. Everything looks just so coiled for action. The muscle bulk, however, does seem a little too thick, and it's almost reminiscent of the Carnotaurus in the Disney movie Dinosaur. The legs of Carnotaurus are actually pretty slender, as you can appreciate from looking at this sketch. And indeed, the animal is quite lightly built. Remember that it's only about 1 ton compared to the T-Rex's 6 or 7. This isn't a big massive bruiser, but it is a runner. Again, we have the right number of digits. I don't expect Sideshow to get something basic like that wrong. 3 claws on the ground and 1 dew claw off. And as with the brow horns, the claws are just beautifully captured. The fade here is awesome. There's a very nice sheen to it. There's a translucence which makes it look so lifelike. The slightly dirty look of these claws on the feet, these claws on the ground look very much like my own cat's claws after she's been traipsing about in soil. You don't have that perfectly clean look that would make it look fake or sterile. What I like to call the clean Optimus look. If you've watched the Transformers movies, you'll notice that Prime looks sparkling clean and shiny at all times between battle and travel. Very nice detail. Here you see the plantar surface again. Scutes, tendons. You can almost imagine fascia here, the plantar fascia being stretched taut. Speaking of sprinting, you can't not talk about the tail of the Carnotaurus. That is a bulky tail. And speaking of the tail of Carnotaurus, you can't not talk about the paired caudal femoralis muscle, which originates on the caudal ribs of the caudal vertebrae and then insert onto the fourth trochanter of the femur. Now, this muscle is a primary retractor of the hind limb, and by its contraction during running, a powerful backward stroke is generated. Now, Persons and Curre in 2011 suggested that the unique orientation of the caudal ribs allowed Carnotaurus to have a larger caudal femoralis laterally than previously estimated. Now, this is a comparison diagram in their paper, I'll put the link below, which shows you the difference between the conservative reconstruction of the Carnotaurus tail with their proposal of the increased bulk of this muscle. And in our Sideshow Dinosaur, that muscle does look sufficiently massive. They do suggest, however, that the interlocking nature of the caudal vertebrae means that the front of the tail was inflexible. And this relative inflexibility is also borne out in this model. There's not much sinuosity here. I've said before, it's necessary to have a base to create stability and still depict what would otherwise be a realistic but very unstable position. That's something the smaller models that do not use bases just cannot achieve. To make a pose dynamic, it has to be unconstrained by the need to have the center of gravity through the base of support. This precarious balance is achieved by a single peg through this leg, as you see here. There's that peg there. And once again, as with the Sideshow Triceratops versus T-Rex, I am concerned about how much stress this ankle will be subject to. That being said, the narrow base and the center of gravity so far out of it gives you the immediate sense of speed, urgency, and forward momentum. This is a fine example of how an in-the-round sculpture allows you viewing from any angle and still look awesome and, most importantly, alive. From any angle you care to view it, it looks fantastic and incredible. Quick word about the base. You'll see here, it's a rather simple affair, a mud crack texture. You've got one fallen log, some rocks, and that's it. There is, of interest, there is a very faint print here. You can see here of another animal. I personally don't think it's a prey item getting away from this Carnotaurus because you see the whole print and not just the toes, as would be the case if it was running. To end off, I want to say that out of all the freaks in the flesh-eating lineup, Carnotaurus is actually my favorite. He's not as iconic as T-Rex, but my personal interest has always been with this bizarre-looking monster, and I'm so pleased to have gotten him. I'm not going to say that that's it for me for the sideshows this time round. After all, I've said it before, and now I've just shot myself in the foot, haven't I? Plus, some news for those of you who got in too late in the game like me. Sideshow is releasing repaints of some of their more popular dinosaurs. On the one hand, many collectors are angry because they believe the exclusivity of what was supposed to be a limited run sculpture has been violated. On the other hand, collectors who missed out will be glad to get these creatures at an affordable price. What do I feel? Well, frankly, I'm surprised that Sideshow did that. That's a kind of scheme you'd probably expect from Hasbro. If you collect Transformers, you know about all the repaints. But frankly, I think the old color schemes are very much superior on many of these dinosaurs compared to the new ones that are coming out. So original collectors need not fret. I had pre-ordered a new Carnotaurus before I found this one, and now that I have him, I will probably be selling the new one so someone else can enjoy a version at least of this beautiful sculpt. Now, I don't do many dinosaur reviews. The reason is that there are actually a lot of people who know a lot more about the subject than I do already doing reviews. For example, Matthew the Dinosaur King is one of the people I watch from time to time. He's only half my age but reviewing so many more prehistoric figures with a lot of knowledge already. And with so many reviewers, I don't think there is much value add I can bring compared to doing the reviews on the McFarlane Dragons. That being said, however, I will still do some that are really special to me, and these Sideshow pieces are definitely special. Okay guys, that's the end of month 1 for 2015. Do a stock take on the progress of your goals, and I will see you very shortly.